Rewilding successes were celebrated nations, fossil fuel funding, and fracking was sent packing in the UK, plus more good news. This week's Good News Roundup rewilding successes were brought into focus. A striking underwater shot of an Atlantic sturgeon swimming free from its cage in Sweden has won an award celebrating rewilding successes in Europe. The juvenile fish was reintroduced to the Göta River as part of a nature recovery project that Positive News reported on last year. Atlantic sturgeon is a keystone species that was declared functionally extinct in Europe, but is making a comeback with the help of conservationists. Spanish photographer Jon Juárez was behind the shot, which won this year's Rewilding Europe Award organised by the German Society for Nature Photography. Runner-up was Romania's Zoltan Jurjunagi, who captured a stunning aerial image of a nature reserve on the edge of Bucharest's main picture that was previously an abandoned construction site. These images show us what's possible when we take action to restore nature and then let nature take the lead in managing itself, said Lorian Holger of Rewilding Europe, the non-profit that sponsored the award. They are a testament to the resilience of our wild spaces and a call to action for a wilder, healthier future. Image Jon Juárez. Rewilding Europe global emissions growth in sharp decline as the world marks a decade since the Paris Agreement. Fresh analysis suggests that the climate pact has dramatically slowed the growth in global emissions. In the decade prior to the Paris Agreement, emissions rose by around 1.7 per year, research by Energy Climate Intelligence Unit SU shows. However, since the accord was signed, they've grown by just 0.32, nearly 5 times slower. While the global economy has grown, annual carbon emissions growth has slowed dramatically, said the SU John Lang. While we still need to go further and faster to get on track to limit heating, it is clear multilateral action on climate has helped to slam the brakes on global emissions growth since the Paris Agreement was signed. The report comes amid cautious optimism that 2025 could be the first year that global emissions start falling, with experts reckoning China, the world's biggest polluter, to have passed peak emissions. However, there's still a long way to go, with most nations off track when it comes to meeting their obligations under the Paris Agreement. Image Pixabay nations /funding for fossil fuels. The amount of public money flowing to international fossil fuel projects fell by 78 last year in countries that have signed up to the Clean Energy Transition Partnership (CEP), new research shows. Launched at COP26 in 2021, the CEP has 40 signatories, 35 countries and 5 public finance institutions, which committed to shifting public finance from fossil fuels to renewables. According to a report by the International Institute for Sustainable Development (IIST), significant progress has been made, with a 78% fall in the amount of public money flowing to fossil fuels in 2024 compared to 2019-2021 levels. The CEP has set a new global norm, with billions in international public finance permanently shifting away from fossil fuels, said Adam McGibbon of the NGO Oil Change International, which contributed to the reports. The more the CEP succeeds, the more isolated the remaining countries outside of it appear. It's time for the remaining laggards to get on board. While CEP has driven a massive reduction in fossil fuel financing, progress on clean energy finance is far slower, said the IIST. It also warned of backsliding by countries, especially in the wake of the US pulling out of the CEP in February. Image Jakob Zerdzicki. Londoners breathed easier. Air pollution in London fell to within the legal limit for the first time in 2024, new government data suggests. That London breached limits on nitrogen dioxide NO2 pollution for so long has been an ongoing controversy. However, finally meeting its legal obligations on NO2 levels is nonetheless remarkable. As recently as 2019, experts said that it would take 1 years to hit the target without further interventions. Interventions were forthcoming, not least the expansion of the city ultra-low emission zone, which charges drivers of older, more polluting cars to enter the city. London's compliance with the UK's annual mean nitrogen dioxide limit value in 2024 marks a truly remarkable turnaround for the city's air quality, said Prof. Frank Kelly of Imperial College London. Just 5 years ago, research we undertook estimated it could take nearly 2 centuries to reach this milestone without decisive action. London's success demonstrates the power of bold, evidence-based interventions to deliver cleaner air. Image Tackle Solutions. Every Saturday, uplift your inbox with our weekly newsletter. Positive News editors select the week's top stories of progress, bringing you the essential briefing about what's going right. Sign up. Fracking was sent packing in the UK. The UK government has banned fracking, a controversial method of extracting gas from shale rock underground. A moratorium on the practice was introduced in the UK in 2019 amid widespread public anger and earthquakes near fracking sites. Fracking remains deeply unpopular, with research suggesting that twice as many Britons oppose it as support it. Outlawing it then represents an easy win for the Labour government and helps it draw a line between it and the Reform Party, which wants to revive fracking. The government's decision to ban fracking is a win for people over polluters, said Jon Juárez, a senior investigator for the charity Global Witness. Fracking is a dirty fossil fuel drilling method that exposes people to earthquakes, water pollution, and more planet-wrecking emissions. Any party would be senseless to back fracking.
Image Darren Richardson trees in the Amazon more resilient than thought. The Amazon's trees are getting fatter from increased levels of CO2 in the atmosphere, suggesting that they are more resilient to climate change than previously thought.
That's according to a new study by an international team of forest scientists. They found that the average size of tree